The ability to communicate effectively is one of the most important skills you can master in life. Whether it's your personal relationships, your career, or your ability to influence others, communication is at the heart of it all. Yet, despite its importance, few people ever take the time to study and practice the art of communication. Today, we are diving deep into how you can master this timeless skill and become the kind of communicator who leaves a lasting impression on everyone you meet. From understanding what makes a great communicator to specific actions you can take to improve your skills, this will be your ultimate guide. First, let's understand one fundamental truth. Communication is not just about speaking, it's about connection. You can have the most eloquent words, the perfect vocabulary, and all the confidence in the world. But if you're not connecting with the person you're communicating with, your message is lost. Connection starts with understanding, and understanding begins with listening. Listening is often underestimated in communication. We think being a good communicator is all about what we say and how we say it. But here's the truth. Listening is where all effective communication starts. When you truly listen to someone, you show them that they matter. You create a space where they feel heard, understood, and valued. But how do you become a great listener? First, practice active listening. Active listening isn't just nodding and saying, "uh-huh." It's about giving your full attention to the speaker. It's about listening to not just their words, but their emotions and intentions behind those words. It's about maintaining eye contact, nodding thoughtfully, and responding in ways that show you're fully engaged. When you're listening, silence is your friend. Resist the urge to interrupt, to jump in with your thoughts, or to steer the conversation in a different direction. Instead, allow the speaker to finish their point before you respond. And when you do respond, paraphrase what they said to show you understand. You might say, "So what I'm hearing is," or "It sounds like you're saying." This small habit can make a world of difference in how others perceive you. Next, let's talk about nonverbal communication. People often say, "Actions speak louder than words." This couldn't be truer when it comes to communication. Studies have shown that the majority of our communication is nonverbal. Our body language, facial expressions, tone of voice, and even our posture all convey powerful messages. If you want to master communication, you must become aware of your nonverbal cues. Are you slouching, crossing your arms, avoiding eye contact? These subtle actions can make you appear uninterested, defensive, or even untrustworthy. Instead, practice open body language. Sit or stand tall, relax your shoulders, and face the person you're speaking with directly. Maintain steady eye contact, but don't overdo it. Too much eye contact can feel intimidating. Your tone of voice is another critical aspect of nonverbal communication. The way you say something often matters more than what you say. For example, saying "I'm fine" in a calm and upbeat tone has a completely different meaning than saying "I'm fine" in a sarcastic or dismissive tone. Be mindful of your tone and use it to reinforce your message, not contradict it. Now, let's discuss emotional intelligence, a cornerstone of the art of communication. Emotional intelligence is your ability to recognize, understand, and manage both your emotions and the emotions of others. It's about being in tune with how you're feeling and how your feelings might be affecting your communication. Imagine you're having a heated argument. Your emotions are running high, and before you know it, you say something you regret. That's an example of low emotional intelligence. A better approach would be to pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? And is this emotion helping or hurting my ability to communicate effectively? Emotional intelligence also involves empathy, the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes. When you're empathetic, you're better able to understand where the other person is coming from, even if you don't agree with them. Empathy builds trust, reduces conflict, and creates a deeper connection between you and the other person. Speaking of conflict, let's address how to handle difficult conversations. At some point, you'll face situations where you need to deliver bad news, give constructive criticism, or address a disagreement. These conversations are never easy, but they're an essential part of effective communication. The key to handling difficult conversations is to approach them with honesty, tact, and respect. Start by preparing yourself mentally. Ask yourself, what's the goal of this conversation? What do I want to achieve? Then, choose the right time and place to have the conversation. Somewhere private, where you can both focus without distractions. When the conversation begins, be direct but kind. Use I statements to express how you feel, rather than blaming the other person. For example, instead of saying, "You never listen to me," try saying, "I feel unheard when we talk, and I'd like us to work on improving our communication." Pay close attention to the other person's reactions and emotions during the conversation. If they become defensive or upset, pause and acknowledge their feelings. You might say, "I can see this is difficult for you, and I appreciate you being willing to talk about it." This shows that you're not just focused on getting your point across, you're also considering their perspective. Another critical aspect of mastering communication is learning how to ask powerful questions. Questions are a tool for understanding, connecting, and guiding conversations. But not all questions are created equal. Yes or no questions can often shut down conversations, while open-ended questions encourage dialogue and deeper insights. For example, instead of asking, "Are you okay?" you could ask, "How are you feeling about what happened?" Notice how the second question invites the person to open up and share more. This simple shift can lead to richer, more meaningful conversations. Let's also talk about clarity. One of the biggest barriers to effective communication is being unclear. When you're vague or ambiguous, you leave room for misunderstandings and misinterpretations. To avoid this, be as specific and concise as possible. If you're giving instructions, break them down into simple, actionable steps. If you're sharing an idea, explain it in a way that even someone unfamiliar with the topic can understand. But remember, clarity isn't just about your words, it's also about your intentions. Before you enter a conversation, ask yourself, what's the purpose of this interaction? What do I want the other person to feel, think, or do as a result? Having a clear intention will help guide your words and actions. Finally, let's touch on the importance of feedback. Feedback is a two-way street. You need to be able to give it and receive it gracefully. When giving feedback, focus on specific behaviors rather than the person's character. For example, instead of saying, "You're so lazy," you could say, "I've noticed you've been missing deadlines lately, and I'd like to talk about how we can improve that." When receiving feedback, resist the urge to become defensive. Remember that feedback is an opportunity to grow, not a personal attack. Listen carefully, ask clarifying questions if needed, and thank the person for their input, even if you don't agree with it. In summary, the art of communication is about much more than words. It's about listening with empathy, mastering your nonverbal cues, cultivating emotional intelligence, handling difficult conversations with grace, asking powerful questions, being clear and intentional, and embracing feedback as a tool for growth. By practicing these skills daily, you can transform not just the way you communicate, but the way you connect with others. You'll build stronger relationships, inspire trust, and leave a lasting impact on everyone you meet. So take this knowledge and put it into action. Start small. Choose one skill to focus on this week, and make it a habit. Over time, you'll notice a profound change in how you communicate and how others respond to you. Remember, communication is an art, and like any art, it takes time, patience, and practice to master.